I want to ask you this because we brought it up just a little bit. The Buffalo Bills are now 4-2. And look, this is just me and my feelings about football. You can't stop the run. You're not winning the Super Bowl. Hard stop. But they've also done this thing where you look on offense and basically they're asking Josh Allen to do a little bit of everything. And I don't feel like that's going so smooth this year. Like, am I wrong?
No. I mean, they're asking Josh Allen to be Superman, which, listen, I believe Josh Allen is unequivocally the second best quarterback in the league. This got me in a lot of arguments over the summer because people were arguing that I had Josh Allen too high. Like that it was
What a
that
change.
I should have had Lamar ahead of him. Like, I also think he lives in a narrative place that I've never seen for superstar quarterback, which is, you've heard me say this to you before, that the single best life in sports is being anywhere from like the 17th to the 25th best player in the NBA. I would call it the Klay Thompson with the Warriors corollary, which is you get paid as much as the superstar. When you're awesome, you get all the credit. And when you're not good, everyone's like, the superstar should have done more. It's just the greatest. Somehow that's where Josh Allen lives.
Yes.
He has a great game on Monday Night Football against the Dolphins. And I got to listen. Mike Greenberg, who is great and not a hot take guy, says, I'm watching that game and I'm thinking, no one has ever played the position better than Josh Allen. And then we watch him on Monday night against the Falcons try to do a little fancy flip pass on fourth down, not do it, turn the ball over. The team scored 14 points. And the conversation is, are the Bills letting Josh Allen down? What the fuck? So I think he's awesome. And obviously, he's the defending league MVP. But for some reason, folks seem more comfortable criticizing Patrick after bad games than Josh, which is baffling to me. So that's the Allen point. Go ahead.
You have made the point, and I think it's fair. And on one hand, I was like, Nick is, endangering that old cookout invitation, except the cookout's at his house. So like he's still okay here. But I think that I don't think you're unfair when you say that many people are leery of being critical of Lamar Jackson in some ways when he has come up short, right? And it's because you got to be careful about the company you have around you, because the people that bash him are so over the top early, and obviously honestly not with an evidentiary basis, that there are people who don't want to end up on that side. But while that was going on, I've never, ever seen media more invested in the success of anybody like they are with the Big Galoot. The Big Galoot is like everybody's big son that they just wanted to get it together so he could get his big ass off their couch. They know he can put it together if he'll just get his mind right. Like, I always felt like the most aware person about Josh Allen was always Josh Allen. But yes. I remember that year 3, Boomer Esiason once referred to him as the great Josh Allen. And I was like, what are we doing here? There is a desire for people to see him do well. And thank goodness for him and everybody else. He got there. Like, he turned into that guy, but you are absolutely correct. He is still prone to what was that? Right? He's still prone to, good thing you throw the ball so hard. Otherwise, that guy would have intercepted it. Like, he's still going to give you all these chances. The ceiling on him is super high. And for the most part, he doesn't shake in big games anymore. But I still think the panic possibility is always there with him, but we don't talk about him in those terms. It's like you say, Mike Greenberg saying, we've never seen anybody play this position better. And that's crazy. Yes.
That's crazy. That's just crazy. And again, this is not, I said last year, I thought he should be the league MVP. For each of the last 2 years, I have picked an AFC championship game of Chiefs-Bills, even 2 years ago last year, when people thought the Bills were maybe on the downturn. Because I do believe when you have a superhuman at quarterback, your floor, you just raise your floor so high. But Here is what I think is noteworthy, though, Bo. Because the one thing the Bills have never had since he's been there going into the playoffs is the bye. They've never had it. And that's also led to a very odd playoff game log for Josh, where it is every single year he puts up these insane wild card round game
Yes.
that they win every year post, his first year in the playoffs. And it's against Mason Rudolph or Bo Nix or Skylar Thompson. Those teams, they play the 7 seed basically every year in the playoffs. They blow them out, and then the playoffs really start for them. This year, with their schedule and the Chiefs scuttling early and the Ravens being bad and Joe Burrow being injured, they had this clear path to the 1 seed. And now they've blown it. Not that they can't get the 1 seed, but they've blown their advantage. And I think we are, because I do think you could have said to Josh with a flawed team, you're the 1 seed, get the bye. First playoff game, we play the worst team that advances. They're beat up, we're rested. Then, in an AFC championship game in your building, put on the cape. Play the game, and you know what I mean? Like, do it once for us this postseason, and we're in the Super Bowl. And then we see. They're now putting themselves in the position where they're likely going to be playing the first weekend of the playoffs. They're likely going to be playing a road game or 2 in the playoffs. And I don't think you can ask Josh Allen to put on the cape for 3 straight rounds. And because they're flawed, like you said, that's what they're going to ask him to do. So I think these were 2 super damaging losses the Patriots and the Falcons lost last 2 weeks for Buffalo.
Well, let's also say this, right? Let's say they get the bye.
Yep.
We're looking at home games all the way through in that ice box.
Yep.
Being in the ice box makes teams not throw the ball as much because it's much more difficult to throw the ball in the cold, right?
Yep.
Now, the most amazing thing about those 4 Super Bowl Buffalo Bills teams is they were running that K-gun offense. We think about them whipping it around, but they were playing a lot of them cold weather games, which meant they had to run the ball, and they got it done. I have always said it was an irony of the Aaron Rodgers Packers. It's not a surprise that the year that they won a Super Bowl was the year they had to play all those games on the road, because that football that you're playing with Aaron Rodgers is not made for playing in Lambeau Field in January, right? Teams are going to run it down their throats if they go play those. If they do get those home games, they're going to play against teams that are just going to run it on them over and over and over again and try to keep that big dude off the field. Like, what do you do? What do you do then?
And while as much as I would love for the Chiefs to once again host the Arrowhead Invitational in the AFC Championship game, there is a part of me that, because this is the last year of Highmark Stadium.
Yes. Oh, you want to close it down?
Well, it's not just close it down, buddy. What if the AFC Championship game, the final game at Highmark Stadium, not only involves Patrick getting to 5-0 in the playoffs against Josh, but the Chiefs stealing the Bills' organizational chain of the only thing they have to hang their hat on for the whole franchise is, we're the only team to make 4 straight Super Bowls. And in the final game of your stadium, the Kansas City Chiefs beat you to go to their 4th straight Super Bowl. There is an element of that I really, really would like the poetry of, but I prefer the game just be at Arrowhead. But that would be pretty sick.
The fact that you thought it out to that level is amazing. I want to make one last point on this because I know we have to let you go. We forget that Sean McDermott saved his job last year. Let's say they go 11-6, and let's say for a moment that this Patriots thing is a little bit real. Yeah. Because the defense was real with Belichick. They just couldn't do anything offensively. Now it's clear that they have a quarterback, or it looks very, it seems
Drake
clear to me they have a quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, it's not off the board that they could win that division up there. If at some point they're going to change coaches. They're not going to keep doing this, you would think. Like, it's wild to have a case where they haven't been to the Super Bowl yet with all those years, same quarterback, same coach.
So every single coach quarterback combo that has ever won a Super Bowl together, all of them won their first Super Bowl together within 5 years. So every single one that's ever won a Super Bowl together, they won their first together within 5 years. For Harbaugh and Lamar, and for Sean and Josh, this is year 8. So they're both, trying to. Do you think it's. So let's paint this scenario. The Ravens missed the playoffs, which right now they're a favorite to do. And the Bills lose in the playoffs before the conference championship game. Do you think it's on the board both of those coaches get fired?
I think Harbaugh is done because it just makes too much sense. I think, what's his name? Brandon Beane is the guy in charge of Buffalo.
Yeah.
Beane and McDermott are so Carolina Panthers attached at the hip that maybe that makes it too difficult, but that's what owners are for. Like at some point, the big boys got to come from upstairs and be like, hey, I was still thinking about that 9/11 shit he said that one time, and I just think it's time for us to do something about it.
Yeah, I think it's really on the, and again, I think Harbaugh and McDermott are both good coaches.
Yeah.
But I think at some point, and let me ask one other Buffalo thing.
By the way, the James Franklin analogy fits with why those guys have to go.
Yes, for sure. Let me ask you one other thing. What do you think would be more damaging for McDermott if they don't make the Super Bowl? Losing to the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers in round 2, or losing to the Chiefs again?
Yo, that's tough because with the losing to the Chiefs, it's never going to happen. Losing to the Steelers is, we took a step back.
Correct. So that's where I think he's kind of screwed, barring making the Super Bowl. You are either going to lose a game where you are a big favorite, or you're going to lose for the 5th time in 6 years to the same team.
Yes.
Like either way, there's no like in a weird way, the best thing for McDermott would have been an awesome Ravens team.
Yes.
And the best thing if they're not going to make the Super Bowl. Like if they lost in the AFC title game to the Ravens in Baltimore. And it's like, okay, you know what I mean? Hey, that happens. We've shown we can beat this team in the playoffs. They've now beaten us in the playoffs. But when the quarterbacks in these AFC playoffs, it's looking like it's going to be Drake May's first career start, Daniel Jones, Bo Nix, Herbert, who's a good player but's never won a playoff game if he gets there, 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers. I'm leaving somebody out, but regardless. And Trevor, my guy, the Prince.
Yes.
I mean, he's one of the greatest playoff comebacks ever. And then Josh and Patrick, like, you can't lose to any of those guys if you're Josh. So it's a tough spot.